I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk, and I'm not a jerk. Apparently, I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? This is Mike Schmidt. This is the 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I am so happy that you are here joining me. And when I say here, I mean in my house joining me because I have a studio audience now. They are the most quiet studio audience in history, but that's okay. Until I say something funny, there will not be a titter or a peep. Titter or a Peep, by the way. That was a fantastic book I read as a kid. It was like Green Eggs and Ham. All right. I want to say thank you for coming back. Thank you for listening last week. Thank you for all your feedback that I've received. I've gotten letters. I've gotten cards. I've gotten all of that. A lot of physical snail mail came in. It was like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. They just dumped sacks of fucking mail in my living room. But no, I got a lot of emails, a lot of comments on my website. And I appreciate everybody listening and sending all the feedback. And also the feedback at iTunes has been really good. So if you have feedback, whether it's good or bad, go ahead and put it at iTunes. That's fine with me because we are available now on iTunes for download. And this might seem a little awkward, but the feedback was so good last week. I have to tell you that I've decided I'm going to start charging for this podcast. I know it seems a little weird out of the box, but you know what? I know you folks are a loyal fan base, and I know you'll ride with me on this, so I think that's the move. I think it's exactly what we're going to do. And I was talking about my situation with my tax guy last night. We've decided that $100 a download would be good. So you can go ahead and mail that to me, or you can go ahead and just, I don't know, when you see me on the street, hand it to me. That would be good. And but $100 a download will be good enough to get me out of my current situation, and I think that you should all contribute to that. If you want to mail it to me again, go ahead and send that to Rick at 123 Credibility Street, and that's from the Young Ones. And if you know what I mean by that, then you are a man who loves the Young Ones, like me. And if you don't, then please go watch the Young Ones because it's fucking hilarious. All right, and I wanted to tell you, I wanted to address a few things I've gotten in the emails. People have asked me when I'm going to have guests, and I can take that one of two ways. One, you really like guests. Or two, you really don't want me talking alone for any length of time. And I got to be honest with you, right now I don't have any guests lined up. You would think that there would be reasons that would be ego-driven, like maybe I just like hogging the microphone and I don't want to share time with anybody. Here would be the real reason. Right now, Eric Butterfield, the man who is producing this podcast, is sitting slumped over on a cocktail bench like it was the end of the fucking Blair Witch Project. I'm not kidding. He looks like he's sitting there waiting to get waterboarded. There's no room in this house for a guest. Barely enough room for Eric and his 9 guns to sit over there in the corner. So I just want to make sure you know that it's right now. It's a room thing, a space thing. Once the $100 a download starts rolling in, I can go ahead and rent some quality studio space, and then fuck it, I'll have whoever you want on. But right now, it looks like it's just going to be me yammering. So I've addressed that concern. Yeah, right now it's just going to be me babbling and kind of telling stories about things that have happened or things that will happen if I want to go fucking Nostradamus on your ass. Maybe I do that. Maybe I just start predicting the future. Here's my prediction. Nobody will give me $100 a download. So that's my first prediction, but that's okay. But no, mainly it's going to be me telling you stuff that happened like this. So this happened. I'm at the gym, and if you've ever heard me on another appearance or on another show or maybe seen me live, you know that I go to the gym, and my gym is a horrible place because terrible things have happened there, and I've talked about them. And by the way, I talk about them on stage, and I can tell you that when I do it in clubs, it doesn't go over as well as I thought it would. A lot of people are more horrified by my gym stories than thinking they're lighthearted and funny. I thought they were funny, and I lived through them. How can these people go ahead and turn their noses up? But apparently not everybody wants to hear about, Thumb Nipple Guy and think it's funny. So, and if you haven't heard about Thumb Nipple Guy, I did it on other shows, and maybe I'll do it on this show. You know what? And this is a good time to cover this. I have no idea what I've talked about before. None. I mean, I did a year on Never Not Funny podcast, and I also have done appearances on other people's shows. I've done over a year on David Lawrence's show. I have no idea what I've talked about because we just talked. There was never any script or any set way to go. We just kind of zigged where we were supposed to zig, and wherever it took us is what we talked about. So I might be overlapping some things on this show, and I apologize if that's the case. So, and again, you're only paying $100 a download, and if you've heard it before, well, then you're just revisiting it. It's like it's rewarming the cockles of your heart with a story that you know and love. So go ahead and take that. So if I wind up talking about something that I've already talked about, I apologize. Feel free to chastise me in your feedback. And by chastise me in your feedback, mean ignore it and keep it to yourself. So, I go to the gym, and terrible things happen at my gym, but I still go to the gym because my trainer is there. My trainer's a cool guy, Richard. He's a real good kid, and he's a good kid because apparently I'm from 1924. So, hey, good kid. I go to the gym last week, and I go to work out, and I have to go there at 9 a.m. And believe me, that is early for a Mike Schmidt, 9 a.m., because Mike Schmidt is usually up till 3 or 4 in the morning, spending most of that time referring to himself in the third person, apparently. So anyway, I get up, and I go to the gym, and I get there at 9 a.m., and I go to lift with Richard, and it's back and buys day. We're getting to take care of some back, we're going to take care of some biceps, and I do my warm-up, which is I do 100 quick curls with 40-pound weight. That's right. That's how I do it. I warm up with 100 curls of 40 pounds, and then we go and lift. So we go upstairs because my gym has 2 levels because it's huge. It's a palace, and apparently all of Mexico can fit in it at once. So I go upstairs to lift, and believe me, that's relevant later in the story. So I go upstairs, and I'm walking, and I go to we're doing back and by, so I'm heading over to the T-bar, and I catch like an awful stench. Like a horrible smell upstairs. And not just your typical funky, oh man, somebody here really needs to wash their jock gym smell. I'm talking like, it smelled like somebody fucked a piece of cheese. I mean, it was like the worst smell in history. And it was, there's nothing around to do it. There's like a guy and another guy. So what it was is I think somebody had like a gas passing episode and then disappeared, and then I walked through it. So I got fucking nailed with a stink ghost. I mean, like right in the face. It was terrible. And I was like, oh, and Richard looked at me, he's like, what? And I go, dude, I got blasted with a stink ghost. He's like, oh, and then he smelled it. He's like, oh, that's terrible. But we continue our lifting because I'm a trooper and I want to be in shape so I can beat up people who, do that sort of thing. So I continue to lift, and about 6 minutes goes by because I have a stopwatch when I'm at the gym. It wasn't 6 minutes. I don't know how long it was. But I'm lifting weights, and Richard's boss comes over to him. And he has a little cleanup lady from the gym who speaks only Spanish. And he's bringing her over because Richard's boss doesn't speak Spanish, but Richard does. And again, quite a benefit at my gym because it is it literally is a border fence and armed guards away from being Tijuana. Lou Dobbs shows up my gym to weep. That's how crazy Mexican it is. So Joey is Richard's boss, and he brings this woman over, and he kind of whispers to Richard, and I see him do it, and Richard goes, "What?" And of course, I have to investigate because, and also because it gives me, I can go ahead and stop doing my abs at that point. Any excuse to stop exercising, I'm on board. So I kind of creep closer, and I know Joey a little bit, and I go, what's going on? And he goes, I need you to tell her that she has to clean up over by the calf raise machine. And only in Spanish because Joey doesn't speak Spanish. He needs Richard to tell her. And Richard says, what's going on? He said, someone took a shit on the floor by the calf raise machine. And normally, I don't like talking about this sort of thing. Normally, this is not something that I would explore. But somebody took a shit on the floor by the calf raise machine. How do you not talk about it? And I'm stunned. I can't believe that this is true. I look over. It's there. It looks like that fake dog shit that you buy from a prank store. It's just sitting right there by the calf raise machine. In between the calf raise machine and an open garbage can. For an even bigger fuck you to the people at the gym. This guy he moves over a foot. He shits in the garbage can. Everybody's happy. Well, maybe not everybody's happy, but, certainly some people are happy. I can tell you who would truly be happy. Imelda, the little cleanup lady who doesn't have to go over and fucking wipe up the floor. So I'm stunned. I can't believe that anybody took a shit in the gym. That makes no sense at all. But they open at 5 a.m. and I guess there's nobody upstairs to see it or to see them, to watch everybody. So Richard has to tell this lady that she needs to go clean up a pile of shit on the floor. I guess because pointing at it and just kind of making a wiping motion wasn't enough for Imelda to figure it out. But I got to be honest with you, if anybody ever told me that it was time to go clean up the shit on the floor, that's about the time, if I'm Imelda, I bust out the adios and quit that job and just go ahead and sneak back over the border because I am not interested in taking care of that. And sadly, that has happened to me. If I might divert for just a second, I worked at a video store in Lake Tahoe when I was like 21 years old. And you get a job at a video store because you want to sit on your ass all day and give out videos. That's all you want to do. You don't want to do anything. You're not committing to any physical labor. This is the kind of job you do when you're a lazy fuck like me, who's, got a fucking microphone in his living room and he's talking into it. So I'm at the video store and the guy Alan, who I was working with, goes into the back, and then he comes back out. He's white as a sheet. I mean, he looks like a fucking, he saw a ghost. And he says, all right, you got to come back here. So we go to the back, and there's an employee restroom. But in the back area, there's an employee restroom, and then there's also a door that opens to the outside, and it was very hot. So we had the outside door open so we would get a breeze in the store. So we walk in the back, we go into the employee restroom, and I'm not kidding you, it looks like a shit pinata exploded. I mean, it is all over the floor. It is on the back of the toilet. It is everywhere but inside the toilet. It's on the sink. It's wiped on the walls. It looks like if you try to take a shit from a trapeze, this is what happened in the room. It is all over the place. And Helen looks at me and he goes, I'm going to need you to clean that up. I'm sure you are, Alan, but that's never fucking happening. And he's like, well, Mike, seriously, you kind of need to do it because he's the manager. And I go, yeah, I don't care. I go, not only will I quit, I will take a fucking grenade to this place before I clean that up. I have no interest in getting involved. And he's like, seriously, you're not going to do it? I go, no, I'll quit. I go, I will take off this second. I don't mind. You can call. I'll even wait for you to call somebody to take over the shift. But I am not. I'm never even using this bathroom again, let alone fucking cleaning it up. And I won. Because not only did he clean it up, but he let me keep my job. I don't know why Alan would do that. It wasn't even his video store. I don't know why he cleaned it up, but God love you, Alan. So if I'm Imelda, and I have experience in this, I'm gone. I fucking take off. But instead, she's going to clean it up. So that's fine. So she goes to clean it up. And then there's just a lot of head shaking as we're all like, man, who would do something like that? That makes no sense. Until 15 minutes later, someone comes up to Richard, and they tell him that they think they know who did it, and he's still in the gym. Apparently some guy had run into the bathroom and kind of in a rush and took care of some stuff and then walked out, and he's still there working out. And I'm like, there's no way. This is not happening. So sure enough, now we form a posse. Now we've got, we're on horseback, we've got torches, we're like, fuck it, we're taking this guy down. They go find this guy, and he's an older guy, he's probably like 50, and he's wearing workout clothes, and he's working out, and they approach him, and I'm not going to lie to you, the guy smelled. I mean, he actually hadn't cleaned himself properly, or he was still, or maybe there was still activity back there. I have no idea what was happening, but he stays in the gym to work out after shitting on the floor. How do you even do that? Hi, folks. Hey, you know what? I just did something a child would be ashamed of. You want to spot me? That'd be fantastic. Hey, can I work in? I'm an animal. I don't understand the logic. So they approach him, and you can see he's got the crazy eyes, and he's sweating. And they're saying to him, dude, we got to talk to you about what happened upstairs. He's like, what? I don't understand what you're talking about. They're like, seriously, we have to talk to you. We know what you did, and he's kind of, he's hemming and hawing. Finally, they tell him that they have cameras upstairs, and they've caught him on videotape doing it, which is a great bluff because they do not have cameras in the gym. Because if they did, some of the stuff that I've talked about before would not have gone unpunished. So they tell him they have cameras, and finally he just kind of cops to it, and he says he's sick, and he had the flu, and so they take him into another room, and I at that point I just fucking divest myself of it, and I finish my workout, and I find out what it was. The guy was actually a member. He's a member at the gym, and he did it, and they wound up revoking his membership. So yeah, that happened. How's that grab you? That's worth $100 a download, isn't it? Cough up your dough. So I work out. I work out all the time, and because I work out, I find myself. It's weird because working out, you're supposed to be healthy and in shape, but I could not be more sore or in more pain at all times than I am now. Even when I was crazy, fucking retarded fat, and I weighed 500 pounds, my knees hurt, but the rest of me seemed like it was okay. It was just kind of floating through life. But now my back hurts, my fucking arms are stiff, but they are fucking huge. Anyway, so because of that, I wind up having to go. I try to go get massages now because I'm an old man who needs to get massages. And it was something my wife and I were involved. We went to a spa once and we did it. And I was like, well, this is great. Let's keep doing this. But I never know going to a massage place if it's going to be, because you always hear about the happy ending massage and when that's going to happen. I never know if that's on the table. I never know if that's something that I should be prepared for. So my wife and I went to a massage place close to my house. And we walk in and there is the craziest, hottest girl behind the counter. I mean, just fucking beautiful. Asian girl, fucking big rack, and she immediately grabs Karen. Hey, I'll help you. Yes, of course you will. God damn it. So I'm standing there, and out comes this woman who's probably 50, and she's tiny. She's 4'11", really small. And she's just like, and she doesn't know any English at all. She's like, you, me? Yes, you, me. All right. So, and she can't stop coughing, by the way. And now all I can think about is the scene in Full Metal Jacket where they said that, half the hookers are working for the VC and half of them have TB. So if they cough, fuck them. So no, she can't stop coughing. And in my head, I'm just like, well, should I bang this chick? But I'd probably not since my wife is a foot away. So we go into the room. And I must say that I've had, massages and they've just been normal. And I've just gotten through them. But this one is different. I'm like laying on a floor and it's kind of dark and there's candles and there's always that, but it just had a weird vibe to it because she's, she can't speak English. So she winds up, the first thing she does, she has me, get undressed and I have to, you keep your boxers on or your boxer briefs. And then I lay down and she climbs on my back like I was a fucking jungle gym. She just like straddles me and she starts pounding on me. I mean, just like really hammering me. And I'm like, this is great because I wanted a hard massage. And she's walking on me and she's all over me like a fucking chimp scurrying up a tree to get bananas. I mean, she is just really using me and I'm enjoying it. That's great. But she then straddles my leg and she cranks my leg up and she kind of puts a weird like knee twist on, but she's stretching my calf. I can't even explain the shit she did because other places I've gone to, and forget about it. They might as well just massage you by poking you with a fucking stick. They're not interested at all. They get their $35 and then their tip and then they're happy. This girl is working for it. So she's climbing on me and but I must tell you, as great as it was, all I could think of was in the other room, Karen is getting the same thing from the hot chick, which then, I as much as I wanted the hot chick on me, now I'm thinking about my hot chick with my wife and I'm like, man, that's actually a much better situation. I can think about that. So as I'm thinking about that and this girl's climbing all over me, she slides down, she straddles my legs, she reaches up, pulls my boxers off. Gone. And now I'm going, well, business is about to pick up. And she just starts working my ass with her hands. I mean, barehanded, bare ass. She's just, knuckles in and she's not knuckles in. I mean, she's not all the way in, knuckles into ass cheeks. Please, let me go ahead and straighten that out. I'm not getting milked by this woman. There's no prostate situation happening. You remember prostate situation, by the way? I saw them open for Foo Fighters about 2 weeks ago. So she's got her knuckles and she's just working my ass cheeks and I'm getting just a fucking glute boot from this chick, just fucking wham. And I'm into it. And now, her doing that, coupled with me thinking about hot chick and my wife in the other room, I'm not going to lie to you, I got a friend in town. So she finishes and then she goes, oh, you turn over now. Apparently, yeah, because she's the cook on Bonanza. She just busted out a hop saying, but literally that's how she talked. It's not a lie. That's how she spoke. So it's not racist. But she's like, you turn over now. Well, like I said, we've now got a third in the room. So I turn around and it's like, hi, how you doing? He's out checking the weather. He's trying to figure out what's happening. And I figured now, if I was ever going to get a hand job, this is going to be it. But I don't want a hand job because, again, my wife is there. That's not what I'm there looking for. But, as a dude, you got to be honest. You're like, well, what am I going to do if she grabs a fucking handful of my crank? Is this going to, how do you say no to that? No, excuse me, ma'am, I'm not interested in that. So now I turn over and I don't know, what she's going to say, if she's going to say anything, but seriously, I'm not kidding you. I turn over, she goes, look, like fucking Godzilla is in the room. Look, yes, look. I don't know that I have a heart on. Like, oh my God, how the heck did that happen? Could it have been when you were fucking knuckle deep in my ass? You think that had something to do with it? But she did literally like, oh, look. So now I don't know what to do. I mean, but luckily he's still, enrobed, enclothed. I still got my underwear on, basically. Not in the back, but in the front. And this time she straddles me and she starts rubbing like all over. She does like my thighs and calves and she gets up and she does everything in that area as close as she can possibly get to it, but she never touches my cock, not once. And then she's like, all finished. And so I it was like a drive-by almost, I guess. It was like I got a drive-by happy ending. And then part of me is like, well, I should finish this myself. But then I figured that's probably not good when they clean up the room. So I never, because I don't know the etiquette on, am I supposed to say to her, hey, there's you missed a spot. Am I supposed to drop that on her? Because I don't know if I am. Not that I wanted a hand job, but I didn't know about the etiquette until I went to another massage. And I realized that, honestly, you don't have to say a fucking thing. Because I was one time getting a massage, and again, I'm not interested in getting a hand job. I've got to I'm actually changing the name of the podcast to that. I'm not interested in getting a hand job, because I'm just going to get massages. But at the same time, the crazy sex addict, weird porn guy in me is just going, well, how come nobody's offering me a hand job? What the hell happened? What's wrong with me? Until I go to this massage place, and This woman wasn't even, she wasn't even fucking around. She's like, you lay down, and they told me to take all my clothes off. I'm like, all right, here we go. And this was a place, I went and did a show in Mesquite, Nevada. So it was a place in Vegas. And it was a 24-hour place. I guess I should have known. but this time, so I go there and I'm laying face down, and she, again, like I said, remember I mentioned earlier about poking you with a stick? This woman wasn't even interested in that. She was thinking about massaging me. That's how much of a massage I was getting from her. And then she's like, flip over. I flip over. There's not even any questioning. She just grabs a handful of my cock and goes, hello, and starts waving it around. Hello. Yeah, that's not the phone. You might want to put that down. But she's like, you want happy ending? You want it? And I went, and I literally had to think about it. And I said, no. And she had this weird look on her face, like, almost like part of her was like, oh, I can't believe this guy would come here and not want a happy ending. And the other part was, please marry me and save me from this horrible sexual servitude. Because she was so happy that I said no. She's like, okay, we're all done then. Fantastic. And she runs away. And I paid her $70 for literally blinking at me, and then I left. So there you go. So I've had I wouldn't say the best of both worlds. I've had both worlds. I've had the woman who was sitting there staring at my hard-on as if it was some sort of monster in the room. And then I had another woman swinging my cock around and going, hello, you interested in this? And I had to fucking turn her down. So yeah, that happened. And the thing, what, I'll tell you this, what's even more weird than going in the room and getting the massage and having the chick grab you is leaving and having to see the other guys sitting on in the waiting room, because you know that all of them are there to get a hand job. Like, you almost want to just go, hand job? Like John Candy in the Blues Brothers. You want, like, orange whip, 3 orange whips. You want to walk out and make eye contact with these guys and go, all right, hand job, 3 hand jobs right here. Yeah, because I like to order my hand jobs in bulk. What if we could do that? What if it was like the car wash and you go to the massage place and get a little coupon, and every time you went in, they stamped it, and after like 20, you got a free hand job? That'd be fantastic. Okay, well, so there you go. That's me yammering and babbling. And again, worth your $100, folks. Please find me and hand me the dough. I'm on my way out of here. I want to go ahead and thank all of you for listening and thanking you for subscribing. You can go to iTunes now and subscribe to the 40-Year-Old Boy. Just punch in the 40-Year-Old Boy or Mike Schmidt. And make sure you include that T at the end of Schmidt, because there is a guy named Mike Schmidt, and he is the most prolific jazz artist in the history of music. When I was first looking to see my link, his name came up, and there's like 80 albums, and I think some videos, and he might have just some still photos or a fucking sketch. I think his old report cards from fucking high school are up there. I don't know. This guy's busy, but it's Mike Schmidt, SCHMIDT, or just put in the 40-Year-Old Boy, and that'll come up. So go ahead and subscribe through iTunes. You can also get us still, if you want to listen at my MySpace page. That's myspace.com/Mike Schmidt Comedy. You can always hear the new episode on my MySpace page. You can also go to my website. Please go to my website, MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Check for all appearances and communiques. And also the newest episode will always be up at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. So that's MikeSchmidtComedy.com, myspace.com/Mike Schmidt Comedy, or please subscribe to us through iTunes. I also want to throw out a special thank you to comicversusaudience.com. It's a blog about comedians in Philadelphia, and they linked to the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast last week. So I was able to get some nice emails from some people in the Philadelphia area. I don't know if they did that because I'm Mike Schmidt, and the Mike Schmidt Philadelphia Phillies thing, or if they knew of me as a comedian person. But either way, comicversusaudience.com went ahead and linked to it, and I appreciate it very much. I was able to get some nice emails from people in Philadelphia. And and I'll tell you this, as far as appearances, nothing yet on the road. I'm in Los Angeles at any and all open mics, but I will be appearing this Saturday, and that is Saturday, April 5th, I think, on WGNradio.com. If you are not in the Chicagoland area, if you are in Chicago, just listen to WGN 720. I'll be on WGN overnight with my good friend Brian Noonan. He's on from 1 to 5. 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Chicago time. I will actually be on at 2:30 Central Time, 2:30 a.m. Central Time on Brian's show. That's 2:30 a.m. Central Time. That's 12:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 1:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 10:30 p.m. Hawaiian Time, and I have no fucking idea what time it is in Italy. So Dario, you're on your own. But go ahead and check me out. I'll be on there talking baseball and all that stuff with our friend Brian Noonan. If you want to listen to the whole show, it's great. Brian is a great friend, real funny comedian, and a great radio host. So I'm very excited to be on that show. So that's WGNradio.com this Saturday night. That's Saturday night, Sunday morning. Also, remember to go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I am Mike Schmidt, the 40-Year-Old Boy. But again, why wouldn't I be? Seriously. I mean, if it's under the 40-Year-Old Boy and it says Mike Schmidt on the iTunes, of course you're going to see that it's me. You're going to go ahead and download it. You're going to see that my picture is there. And you're going to read the description that I wrote, even though it's a stagnant description. It's a description that I like to have up there. So please feel free to read the show. folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jag-off. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jag-off. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just, I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're fit. 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 You're fit.